We got Josh here, and he's really the only one that knows what the hell's going on. I don't know why anybody would buy anything other than Tork's poo water, but that's for another time.
Was thick hog manure, and it's coming out looking like brown water.
That's your little Cliff Clavin nugget of knowledge this morning, so let's stop screwing around and we'll do something. Well, good morning. I pussed out a little bit yesterday. It was so stinking hot that I decided, you know, there'll be better days than better days than yesterday to do these posts. So I waited till the next morning, and the weather's a little cooler here today. It's only about 78 right now. Pigs settling in really well. They're up, a little more active. They got a nap, they got a drink. They're feeling better. So that's good. So we're gonna go down here and do some posts. Here's the first victim. All these posts are kind of doing the same thing. One thing that's interesting that you don't realize, but time takes its toll on everything. When I load these barns, so this is my oldest barn, when I load these barns, I always start on the north side. Obviously the biggest pigs, or the first pigs in, go all the way to the end. And in both of these rooms, the first posts to go bad are on the north side and all the way at the end. It just tells you the extra weight, because those end up being the biggest pigs. And so those pens get the most wear, and by the time you start selling, those are the biggest pigs. And over 16 years, those are the posts, those are the gate feet that take the abuse. So anyway, that's your little Cliff Clavin nugget of knowledge this morning. So let's stop screwing around and we'll do something. Humidity is still a little high. Other than my own mistakes of like putting the bolts on and forgetting to put the washer on first, it's only about a 10-minute deal to change one of these, you know, once you've done 20 or 30 of them. So I'll tighten all this up and cinch it down. One thing, and we talked about this before, is you can see the amount of wear that's at the bottom of these compared to the top. So I put a third bolt in every one of these I switch to suck this up a little tighter in the middle, make it a little more rigid, but time comes for everything. The next item that will start to give out in these barns will be these posts that the swing gates go on. I've had to only replace one of these so far, but they're not gusseted either. Back when we did these, they weren't gusseting them. So that metal where that welded is probably wearing thin, so that'll be the next thing. I think I've got four more to do, so we'll finish this up, go to the next one, then we're gonna go work in the shop the rest of the day. So catch you on the next one. Well, it's fall, and we're gonna start corn in like a week. It wouldn't be fall unless you're trying to do 80 things at once. So as you can see, our crossflow's back. I don't know if you remember, this trailer was here earlier, but this is a miniaturized version of what's going to be in our shed. We got a generator because it takes 3 phase to run it. And let's go over here. We got a couple of tip tanks, and that is not latex paint. That tank is clear full of manure that our good friends at NutriDrip separated for us. So if that's not black paint, that's not a gopher mount. So this is manure that they separated, just like what they did earlier this year when they were here. So they came and they separated enough manure out of our pit to give us 2,500 gallons of water. Now that's not clean water, but it has the solids out of it. And so we're gonna get set up and we're gonna process that water through that machine right there that we call a cross flow. And then out of that, we're gonna pump the clean water. And when I say clean, I mean cleaner, not cleanest, but cleaner. It's gonna go through that machine and then it's gonna go in that back tank. It'll look clean, but it's not like drinkable. There's one piece of equipment that's not here, and that's an RO, reverse osmosis system. That water that's gonna be in the back tank is gonna go through an RO, and then what comes out of that RO, that is actually another type of fertilizer that we call a brine. So it is like an 844 or something like that. And that brine is gonna go into just like chemical totes that we have, and then we're gonna send those off to get tested. So we're gonna end up with two products out of this deal. We're gonna end up with this product, which when it's dried, it's gonna be a fertilizer. And then that brine is gonna be a fertilizer also. And then the back tank, that is gonna be clean water that we can either discharge or we can feed right back to the pigs. I really wanna bottle it, put my name on it. I don't know why anybody would buy anything other than Tork's poo water, but that's for another time. Anyway, that's kind of the long and short of it. Josh is here. Josh knows a lot more about running that machine than we do, and we're gonna get set up tonight, and then tomorrow we're gonna run all this. We'll take you along for the process, so stay tuned.
All right, so it's the next day, and we're kicking off to get this thing started and do its thing. So, like Dad was explaining, this whole setup, we've already kind of done this before. This is that dry fertilizer product. We know what this is. We know what the value of it is. We know what the nitrogen content is, all that. So now, the main reason for why we're doing what we're doing here today is we want to see how much nutrient value is in that brine that we're going to create with this system. So like Dad said, not only are you getting that dry fertilizer product, all the solids out, but then we're creating another product with the brine. And so we're gonna see how valuable that brine is. So we're extracting it, and then we're gonna get it tested to see what the value of it is when it comes to fertilizer value. So that's the goal today. We're gonna be kicking it off any minute now, and we'll have Josh kind of talk to you guys a little bit while it's running, explaining the process, all that, so you can kind of see what's going on. But this is kind of the demo unit. We're working towards making this thing go into our shed and doing this in real time from all of our pits all the time. It is getting there, guys, slowly but surely. It's been a process, but we're gonna get it there. We're gonna get it there. It's gonna be pretty awesome. So stay tuned.
So we got everything all ready to go. Got the generator running. This system takes 3-phase power. We got a 3-phase generator there, got it running, but nothing's lighting up, and we're not sure if we don't have something hooked up right. We think we do. We think we have all the legs powered up correctly. So when in doubt, go grab your tester and start snooping around. So that's where I'm headed next. Well, all it took was me leaving, and Josh found the issue. There was a breaker in the sub panel that was tripped, and he found it, and she's lit up, and now we're gonna do something productive. So we're gonna try to make this whole apparatus run. Without any further ado, we're gonna get started. Okay, so we're kind of running. You can see that tote. We're processing, but we're not running completely automatic. So when we first started, this machine came up here from Gaston, Georgia, where it was separating some manure down at a swine farm there. A couple of the valves were sticky, not wanting to move automatically. So Josh is kind of starting and stopping and running things backwards and forwards, making sure that everything is running the way it should. We're pretty close to setting up and letting it run continuously. And when we do that, we're gonna have him kind of explain the process and how everything flows through this machine. We've conquered the power issue and we've got manure flowing, so we're getting there. So it just keeps getting busier around here. The RO just pulled in. That's that rig. He's gonna get it backed up over there, and we got to run power to it. When we get this all done, we'll show you the finished product. But it's like silly season around here, so we'll see what happens next. Okay, well, as you can see, the sun is starting to get low on the horizon. It's been a day, so it's about 4 o'clock. Well, it's about 5 o'clock actually. We have had a time getting everything figured out and getting it running, and I would say it's about 80%. We still got some things we got to figure out. I'll take you around here to this side. These are our totes that we're filling with what comes off the cross flow, and then over there is our RO. That piece right there is a filter that we're not using right now. We thought we might have to use it before the cross flow, but it's working. We're running it really slow because you got to remember that this rig, this is like a miniaturized version of what is going to sit in our shed back there. You can't run the kind of volume that we're going to be running, and figuring out what that is, how much you can put through it based on how thick the manure is. Even though it's been separated, even though we got that pile out of it, it's still pretty thick for the membrane, depending on how fast you're pushing it through there. And so that's kind of been the problem, is figuring out that sweet spot. We got Josh here, and he's really the only one that knows what the hell's going on. So when he gets to where he feels like he can catch his breath, I'm gonna have him kind of explain what we're doing here. So stay tuned.
All right, so everything's running. It's running slowly but surely here, and we're gonna have Josh kind of lay out what's going on and explain a little more technical details to you guys on how all this is working and what it's doing.
Right here is our raw pig manure. What we're doing is we're flowing it over into this back tank. It's kind of a surge tank. It's then being pumped into our cross flow. And what the cross flow is doing is it's taking those solids and it's sending it through these ceramic membranes, and it sends it through the center of these membranes, and it flows out of the membrane and is collected. And so as it's circulating, it's producing enough shear that it's cleaning off those membranes, preventing them from fouling. And so you're able to just process a lot more solids through it quickly. It's then ending up in this tank right here, what's able to pass through the membranes. That is then being transferred back into this back tank with minimal solids, literally no solids at all. That is then going into that tank. What's being rejected off the cross flow is being collected back here, and that's kind of a soupier sludge essentially.
Let's go back there.
You can see it back over here on this other side. It's ending up in here. And the reason we're collecting it is because long term what we'll do is we can integrate that with your dry compost. You can get the nutrient value from this reject off the cross flow, as well as getting the nutrient value from what's being filtered out. All your clean water, that's going to be able to be used downstream and purified and concentrated to be a good nitrogen fertilizer for offtake, essentially. So this right here is what's coming off the cross flow. It was thick hog manure, and it's coming out looking like brown water.
And that's that liquid kind of fertilizer product that has the nutrient value that's ran through the system.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And so this will end up getting concentrated down into a more of a brine, a thicker brine, more concentrated brine that can be used for fertilizer.
What's in this? Is this?
This right here is just raw. This is what's going in, and I wish I had it in a different container. I could pour it into one right now real quick.
Yeah, so you separated all the solids, and they're sitting there, and it was in this tank. And then this is what this is in this tank. And then after you run it through the system, it ends up being this.
This is your end product through the cross flow filter.
You're getting two products. You're getting that pile of dry manure that has fertilizer value. You're taking this dirty, dirty hog water that doesn't have a bunch of solids in it, but still has some value nutrient-wise, and you're running it through. It's extracting those nutrients and making that brine. And then what's left is just water that you can clean.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so once it gets to this brine, we'll concentrate it and we'll run it through an RO, and that RO will allow you to get your brine to to the nutrient value you want, and it'll reject water that can be reused and recycled.
And the water will be clean, right?
Correct.
So you could feed it back to the pigs or just discharge it if you wanted.
Correct.
Sounds like you know what you're doing.
Trying my best, that's for sure.
Yeah. Is this all new to you?
This is new to me. So I've been running this, my third or so month running this system. We rented at a few other hog farms already and gotten some various results from each of them. Everything's a little bit different and it's a bit of a learning curve wherever you go. But we're having good success and it's been a lot of fun.
And you guys are doing this at dairies too, right?
That's the plan, yes. We're gonna hopefully be able to apply this to dairy manure. That's a different beast, and so we'll have to adapt. The principle is the same.
Cool. Okay, well, that's the rundown of what's going on. And what's gonna sit in that building over there is just kind of a bigger version of this, right?
Exactly. So this is essentially a demo unit, and it's scalable. So depending on the size of the operation, the amount of manure needing to be processed, we can scale this up and down to meet those needs. Okay. It's quite simple to do. It's just a matter of adding more membranes so you can have a higher throughput through the filter.
So you guys are just taking this to several different sites to process, to just get data to know what to expect, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
So we're able to go out and do a demo on site, so that way people can get their eyes on it, know what's going on, see how it might operate at their facility, and then decide to go from there.
Cool. Well, that's all I really got for you guys. I just wanted to kind of get the breakdown from the guy that knows a lot more about it than we do. We're learning as they're doing it. So you got it from the man that actually knows how it all works. That's all we really got right now. We're gonna kind of do this, run this, and then you guys are gonna take this and go test it, right? And
correct.
Okay,
yep.
see. Okay.
Yep. We're taking our different samples of what's coming into the crossflow, what's coming out, what's being rejected, that thicker stuff. We're gonna test it all, kind of figure out where the nutrients are ending up, how we can tweak it.
Sweet.